Yourselves.
Yeah, it's loud as fuck. Oh,
Bam, we're live.
Win strong man on. Win strong man on. Turn strong man on.
Hiller's good and Taylor is good. Brian and JR, because of the locations, when you guys want to talk, just put your hand up or something, or just unmute yourself and just go.
Is it bad here? I don't think it's so bad.
Not so bad where you're at. Must be JR.
it's quieter now.
Welcome back. Event 2 just finished.
JR, if you want to come sit next to me, I'll mute myself when you talk and vice versa if you want to move over here.
And I like your different settings. It makes me feel like we're doing more shit. JR Howell is at the venue. Taylor is at the venue. Taylor self and Brian Frender at the venue. The remaining three of us are not. Do we care that none of the women finished within the time cap?
I do, because it's a super easy fix. You either drop the muscle ups by 4 to make them 16, or you give them 2 extra minutes, and it's fun to see a couple people finish the workout.
Taylor self.
I'm mostly indifferent. I do think that if you say you're there to showcase the athletes and all 20 of your athletes get stuffed by a workout, that's not the best look. But
Mr. Howell.
I think it's sorry.
You're next, Hiller. Oh, go ahead, Hiller. Go ahead, Hiller. He's letting you go. Go ahead.
Thanks, JR. You're a man. I think it's the exact same as saying, hey, you do 10 ring muscle ups and the females have to do 7. Everyone's doing the same amount of work. I mean, at some point or another, the females are going to catch up to the males on the log bar muscle up.
I don't understand. What are you saying? That they should have either reduced the reps or increased the time, or who cares? The women are eventually going to catch up to the men.
There have been events in the past where there's been different numbers on the gymnastics movements because, similar to a barbell, they weight the barbells differently, and that's understood. But I don't think that there should be a difference on gymnastics movements, and they already gave them a different number on the ski. So I don't
totally disagree with that, because you're neglecting the only thing that matters, which is hand size. It would be like saying the women should use the men's barbell.
You said hand size didn't matter on the last show.
Stuff them.
Why do they have 2 different diameter barbells?
So they can make more money because they sell more barbells when they've got more barbells available.
Wad Zombie, the creator of the player cards. Here is the Down Pepper card. Thank you, Wad Zombie, for the $5. And
would you say that they wouldn't have needed to change the time cap had they had a different diameter bar for them to do muscle ups on?
Possibly. I don't
know.
I know
that's
that's something that if I'm making the workout, I'm going to be testing to make sure that the women and the men can both do this at the same diameter.
You think it changes the outcome?
Listen, I know this. Look, there were only
it
a
doesn't
couple.
change the outcome, but why would you not want to program an event that has at least a few athletes finish the workout?
Let's let JR get in here. We haven't heard from JR yet. Hold on one second, Hiller. JR.
Yeah, so just my main point is to kind of piggyback off of what Brian and Hiller said. The only reason why I think it is appropriate that no one finishes is that if in testing they did finish. So if they just had an athlete do it, like let's just say Christy,
I heard Tia tested the workouts.
Yeah, so let's say Christy did a lot of the testing. She did the log, clean and press. She did this workout, and she finished under 12 minutes. And they had a male test it, and he finished in 11 minutes. Then I don't see a problem with them saying 12 minutes is an appropriate cap. I think it should have been based on the testing. So that could be something we ask later on.
Oh, hold on a second. I got a follow-up question for JR. But JR, that sort of doesn't answer the question. The question is, would you have you're talking about the protocol they used to test them, and if they tested them and people finished, okay, it's an accident. But what would you have liked to have seen? Ideally, would you like to have seen a certain percentage of the field run across the finish line?
Yeah, I mean, having seen the workout being done in person and seeing how even those first 20 reps were really difficult to watch, because there were some females that didn't get off the first 20 reps until well over halfway through the workout. So what I would have I would have done 20 and 16 to keep it clean, because you already have the 40 and 32.
Okay. Stand by. Taylor, I did hear the commentators say, these are the two things that I observed from watching from home. I saw the ladies doing onesies right off the bat. And then I also heard the commentator say that as some of the ladies were coming back to the ski erg, Ellie Turner was still on the first round of ski erg. Are you telling me that you witnessed women who never got past the bar muscle up at the event?
I actually think the girl who I picked to win did not get through the first 20.
Wow. Who was that? Who was that?
Annika Greer. God bless her.
All right. Yeah, I love Annika Greer.
I
Annika,
think
you're always
she
welcome on the show.
I think she missed like her first 10 reps. She jumped up and couldn't get over the bar.
Brian, did you witness anyone besides Annika not come off the first round of muscle ups?
No, I'm not 100% sure if she did or didn't actually, but everyone else did.
Okay. And did we have that issue with the men? Did we have anyone struggling that hard with the men?
No.
Wow.
Andrea Solberg.
Wow. Here we go. So Courtney is saying Annika Greer got 4 reps, and that was it. And that's also been confirmed by Christian Fasson.
Yeah, she was no repping. I don't know. On the reps that she got, it just looked like she couldn't figure out the technique. I think that was for most of the athletes that really struggled with it. For sure, hand size and your ability to kip and get over the bar. But in my opinion, if you can make 4 reps and you can fail 40, then it's probably more of a technique thing.
Can we see the leaderboard? Will they show us how many people? Will they show us the reps at which they got capped?
Yes.
Let's go. While he pulls that up, let's go on to better news. Emma Lawson shows up, destroys the workout. Anyone surprised?
I'm not surprised.
I just want to say how impressive it was from 3, 2, 1, go to watch her do singles and to come down and take one breath and continue to do them.
Very
that was,
methodical.
I mean, as far as like maturity level goes, to be able to do that, not knowing how many females are going to come out and try to rip big sets, that was just super impressive.
When do we pat Sevan on the back for the chicken winging comment?
No, you were pat him on the back, but you were also right.
Well, no, he was the one who thought about it.
I was really surprised to see how quickly people chicken wing. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was like, that's the thing that, the Emma Lawson was incredibly impressive, of course. And I mean, really cannot sleep on this girl's just overall fitness. Yes, she's not as strong as some of the other girls yet, but anything else at this point, we have to consider her, viable in the conversation. But it was really close. I think she only beat Cara Saunders by 1 rep, and I think Ariel Lowen was 1 rep behind that. And that's what I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see at least the top women finish the workout. And all you needed was 1 more minute or a few less reps for it to happen.
Apparently, the Rogue pad is just a wild west.
Oh, what do you mean
That's
by the
all it's
Rogue
called.
pad?
It's a
Chat.
garbage dumpster fire.
Oh,
Really?
We'll get to that. Give me 1 second. We'll get to that. It is not fun. I'm thinking about possibly turning it off. Jacqueline Robinson, thank you. Second donation of the day. Crazy. Thank you, girl. Eileen Brown, thank you in advance for your coverage. Thank you. Triple thank you. Quadruple thank you. The 2 people in the men's division who came off the log first, Noah and Vellner, neither of them won.
Sevan, I'll tell you, we were shocked that Noah took the early lead on that workout.
Shocked
Why?
because you didn't think he would do so well, or shocked because he's known to come out hot?
Yeah, that was sarcasm.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, I missed that. My bad. Scott Tetlow off last, had a tough performance. Was that hand size, Andrew Hiller?
I think he could have potentially had won the initial version because he's better at those sorts of movements. Not 1, but definitely top 5 to 8. And then he finishes dead last. So, yeah, something like that. Hand size, technique, what we were talking about with Annika.
And he was actually great on the ski and GHD portion of the workout.
He was.
JR, did hand size play a role? And I would like to say I don't think larger hands mattered. I was concerned about really small hands.
Well, it's interesting. You see someone like Noah, and even from the beginning, he was releasing his grip at the top of the log every time.
Same with Chandler Smith.
Granted, he was obviously going to go for those bigger sets, but you didn't see a lot of people doing the same technique. You saw like Ricky, his kip was like the most minimal kip you could use. And then you saw other athletes really try to get long in the arch position to really try to get their head through more. But you could kind of see where that would be a disadvantage in this workout because it increases time under tension. The longer the rep is, the more your grip's going to blow up. So it'd be interesting to me to know if it was more of a my hands felt too small or my forearms just blew up. It was more of a grip fatigue issue and not a hand size issue.
Chandler Smith was using an explosive kip, and at the top, his hands would literally pop off, like you say, from this position to this position. He was actually mid-flight. As far as the women go, I don't think it was hand size that caused those women. Why do you think that the women struggled significantly more than the men? Andrew?
I think we pretty much, I mean, it's the size of the log. It's what Brian was saying in like the beginning of this call. If there were a smaller log, maybe they don't need a longer time cap potentially just because the repetitions would have been easier for them. There's also the possibility that the males can put more power into their kips, allowing them to do that hand switch that Chandler was doing that you just brought up.
Yeah.
What about torso length?
Well, then Hopper would have won.
Well, in terms of some of the girls who couldn't even get over top. I'm curious. I don't know. I just thought about that. I wasn't sure. Like
I just saw Tommy Hackenbrook kind of beat this event up, and he's somebody with massive hands, but longer torso, right?
Yeah. I was thinking in terms of Annika not only getting 4 reps, she's got a lot shorter of a torso than a lot of the other girls out there.
Hey, if anyone wants to go back in the archives, epic battle between Chris Spieler and Tommy Hackenbrook in the Southwest Regional back in the day, 64 pull-ups, 8 overhead squats.
What year?
2014,
2012?
Yeah.
13 or 14.
I think 14.
I bet you I filmed it. There was some chat just now in the side that says that I didn't follow it, but I didn't even think of this. But any thoughts on your part popped up that this log is a gimmick? It's too gimmicky and not a test of fitness.
No, not at all.
I think you can only really go with what the athletes had to say, and every athlete that I've talked to or seen be interviewed has said that this is something that they expect when they come to Rogue and they appreciate about Rogue is that they give them things that are a little bit different, and it's just part of the experience here. So the athletes seem to embrace it, and I think everyone else should too.
The JR gimmick or no gimmick?
No gimmick. I mean, all I heard from the fans was how cool it was to watch, and all you heard from the athletes was that, when would they ever have an opportunity to do something like this at home in training?
Andrew Hiller, gimmick or no gimmick?
I didn't think that the crossover double unders were a gimmick. I thought they were progressive. So it's impossible for me to think that this is a gimmick.
I don't think it's a gimmick either. I thought it was.
I think it's great.
I thought it was a valuable lesson.
Also, I've noticed that when you think about functional fitness or real world application, and you're like, how often are you going to have it? That thing people talk about this all the time. Taylor talked about trying some stuff on tree limbs before. I've done pull-ups on tree limbs when I was living in a different country. And yeah, so, it just applies over, and you should be able to do stuff like this if you're fit.
Jeff.
Yeah, I you know what, Daniel, that's where I was going to. I think it's the opposite. I think it's a game changer also. We'll see. It would be fun to get Adrian on here at some point and ask him what he thought about it. I bet you he loved it. In the men's division, where Bruce Wayne, thank you for this amazing birthday weekend coverage. Smash the like button. Bruce, one of the most, if not the most appreciated viewer of the show in the history of the podcast. Where did people make the most ground? Were you surprised at where people were doing the passing? I would like to say this. I did see Justin Medeiros pass Ricky Garrard in a transition. Chase him down in the transition from, I think it was the GHD to the
Well, Sevan, this is exactly what we talked about with Medeiros last time. Is that he was 7th off the log, 7th off the ski, 2nd off the GHD, 2nd off the ski, and 1st off the log. It's how he does every workout, and you just have to expect it from him at this point. But the answer to your question is it depends on the athlete. Roman was obliterating people on the ski, but he was, being passed by others in other parts of the workout. It ended up paying off for him in the end, but the better athletes, for the most part, paced the workout well, where they weren't giving away huge parts on the back end.
Enlightening, Brian. Thank you. That was good. Taylor.
Commenting on Justin's pacing?
No, just in regards to
Okay.
where do you think that the passing
Most
was
of
there a
the ground
place
was made
where
up.
most of the men and women did their passing?
I don't think there was a ton of passing aside from two people really, and that was Roman and Justin. I think Roman passed, like Brian just said, a ton of people on the ski, and Justin passed virtually everyone who was in front of him on the GHD, and by a lot too. He got on quite a bit behind, and he got off quite a bit ahead, which was very impressive. But same for Roman on the ski. He got on the ski behind a lot of people by like 10 calories, and it was like he got off like 10 calories ahead. It was insane.
Well, you say impressive, but in those two specific instances, it's also expected. Like, we know that Justin's amazing at those, and we know that Roman's the best at the ski.
JR, in terms of the women, the passing game, was there any particular movement that showcased people's strengths or weaknesses, or where the passing predominantly took place?
I don't think we were given an opportunity to see the GHD and the ski matter nearly as much, because so much of the workout was dependent on the muscle ups. I mean,
for the women particularly.
Absolutely. So it was who we saw get off the first set of bar muscle ups. We didn't see too much change in who finished in the lead on the last set of bar muscle ups. There wasn't a lot of jockeying after that. If you're one of the people that were good enough to get through the first 20 in a reasonable amount of time, you weren't getting passed by anyone that decided to pace the first set of 20. Everyone was pretty much just trying to survive and get through them and then get back to them at the end and get as many reps as possible.
Andrew, coming from the CrossFit Games champ, who did we even see him win one event at the CrossFit Games, Justin Medeiros?
I don't believe
no
so.
events last year. Wow.
Didn't he not win an event last year? Yeah.
So Justin Medeiros, 2022 fittest man alive, second time in a row, didn't win a single event at the CrossFit Games, and here we are in the second event, and he wins. What does that tell you? Does that tell you anything? Does it tell you about the programming? Does it tell you about Justin? I mean, and the same guys are here. It's not like he's doing different guys.
No, this is the problem. Is through
Never mind,
events,
Hiller. Hold your thought. Go ahead, Brian.
Through two events, he's not. I didn't hear you say Andrew.
I know. I'm just fucking.
It's okay.
He's doing the exact same thing. It's like you look at those workouts, and I know it was a freak thing, but you'd expect Lazar to steal points from him on the running workout. He doesn't. He gains points relative to his expected placement. You think Vellner can win this workout. It looks like Vellner's going to win the workout. He doesn't. And Medeiros passed him in the end, and Ricky passed him in the end. This guy just never gives away points. And, someone else is going to have to show that they can do that well. Otherwise, you're not beating him.
Andrew, your thoughts on it, on his pacing, even though take into account everything Brian says, it seems an extremely astute observation, but still he couldn't win events at the games.
And it didn't really matter, because if you finish in the top 5 in every event, then you're going to win the games. He just doesn't give points away. That's what he was saying. And I remember, so I was watching that with Sousa.
Okay, so let me just say this. Let me just say this before you finish. So what you're saying is it doesn't matter that he wins or loses. It's that he doesn't give points away.
One of the most amazing things, I think, in the history of CrossFit was the 2017 or 18 regional from California. And Dan Bailey didn't finish outside of the top 10 on a single event and didn't make the games. And I couldn't believe that, like, having all of those finishes inside the top 10, he didn't make it, because usually that was the thing that concreted yourself qualifying. Medeiros just happens to do that with 5th place finishes and above at the level of the CrossFit Games.
It happened again this year at semifinals, didn't it, with Kelly Clark? Someone like that? Or Chloe Wilson?
Yeah.
Chloe Wilson, I think.
Oh, didn't Chloe Wilson have a bad finish?
No, she had like every finish 6 through 10 and didn't make it.
Is she the one who got beat out by Wells?
No, that's Kelly Clark.
That's Kelly Clark, okay.
Kelly Clark, that 4th, 5th, and 6th were all separated by 1 point. It was like 223, 224, 225.
Yeah, and like to Brian and Hiller's point and Taylor's point, this is how nitpicky we can be about Justin's execution. On the 80th repetition of the GHD, he had to get back on and do another rep. Whether the judge said 79 and he thought it was 80, or whether Justin didn't touch the foot pad or the floor, whatever. So we all saw that and said, oh, he had to put his feet back in and do another rep. So that's maybe 2 or 3 seconds. So if it didn't happen, let's say Pat or Ricky beats him by 1 bar muscle up, then we can talk about something for 15 minutes on the show that we never get a chance to talk to. And it would be about, oh, Justin made that one mistake on the last GHD and it cost him. But even when he makes a mistake, he wins the workout and he doesn't make them. So that just kind of shows you how impressive it is that he can not mess up.
When he does do that, do you hear audible gasp from the crowd when he has to go back?
No, it was very faint. It was like he was still sitting.
It was quick too.
He was still sitting on the pad. He just had to put his feet back in and do another rep.
He told us in an interview, post-game interview that we did on the Sevan podcast, that it's not enough for him to win the games, that he really does want to be dominant. And I'm guessing that we're seeing some of that now. We're seeing him maybe push the pace, tweak the pace. He's gone back to the lab with Adam Knifer and Ellie Turner, and he's pushing the pace. This workout wasn't made for Justin, was it? Like when you look at it, are you like, fuck, these are all his best? Oh, go ahead, Taylor.
Taylor picked him to win.
I thought so. When I saw the 80 GHCs in the middle and how important that would be in the workout, I thought there was no way anyone was going to touch him. And if someone was going to be close, it'd be Pat.
Roger. The chicken wings that we talked about, what happens physically? We'll go to you with this, Andrew. Why do people chicken wing? What happens that people lose confidence to pop up? What's the physiology behind that? Do you know?
If I were to take a grab at that, it would be fatigue, grip strength, misplacing the kip. So like a skill component. So in relation to the bar, a whole bunch of this in relation to Annika was missing her first 10 reps. Let's say she put herself into a good position and then just missed it. She would have to like scoot her way over the bar. And it's something you see in a handful of people when they're first learning how to do a bar muscle up. They like don't really have the technique down quite yet. So they get themselves over the bar with like throwing one side of their body up and over the top. Or it happens when people start to fatigue because they lose the power of the kip getting into such a similar position. And then they just weasel their way over the top because they'd rather get up than do it the proper way. Or they're fatigued and they can't do it the proper way any longer.
I wonder, do you think pulling early has a little bit to do with it? Do you think, athletes who pull a little early to the bar with that arm bend so that they can't
and then it like
more?
Sits on their torso, right? Which is what you were talking about, the short torso.
And so why chicken wing? You're basically trying to take that momentum from the kip and push it just to one side?
It's just like Pillar said, a technique. And
you probably don't have to get quite as high. There's like a certain point you got to get to turn over. And if you shift, you can get one side up and over the top of the implement easier.
That's what I was looking for. So it's
and that's why I think it's the grip. And in this case particular, they didn't have as strong a grip, and therefore they couldn't get as big a pull. They couldn't get as high, and they had to default to something that you rarely see from athletes like this.
So basically, you nailed it, I think, Hiller. It basically, when you turn to one side, you get 2 inches higher up on the bar with one arm, as opposed to 1 inch too low with both arms.
And then you fail. They'd rather make it and look ugly than fail and not get a rep.
Taylor, is chicken wing bad for your body? Lead to injury?
It's not good.
It's not good. I've always heard that, but it doesn't feel bad when I do it.
Well, if it doesn't feel bad, fuck it. Keep doing it.
You're good right now? Shoulders?
Me, yeah.
Back? Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. It's your lower back that you get out of bed in the morning and is oh shit, right?
But I've been good for a month. Let's not talk about it.
Who's blowing the back out?
I want to talk about the pads for a second. An observation I made. The pads were white on the what's up with those pads? The booster pads that they were standing on. What was going on there?
It seemed to me like it was some sort of covering they put on it in case it was sprinkling or damp so that they wouldn't slip. The Rogue riser pads are pretty slick when they get wet. Like if they get sweaty, they're really slick. So I would imagine that was like a carpet or some sort of felt material just to keep them safe for when athletes came down.
Brian, do you have an opinion on that? What those white coverings were on the booster pads?
No, but it was in my notes as well.
Good. Thank you. JR, do you have any thoughts on what that white covering was? Could you tell the texture?
I couldn't really see the texture from where we were standing, but I have to assume it was just there for athlete safety.
Okay. I'll put it in my notes for one of the questions I asked Katie tonight. This is a little off topic here, but Kiki Dixon's microphone had CBS branding on it. Is this on CBS?
Maybe in the future.
Thoughts? Anyone? Do you know, Brian?
I don't know. That was something I did not see.
Ricky's performance on the ski erg. That is where it looks like he lost this event, that he could have won this event if it wasn't for the ski erg.
I mean, first of all, I would say this was a great performance by Ricky, and and the reason we haven't talked about him yet is because Justin was just a little bit better than him at basically pacing this workout. But I was only watching Pat and Justin. I fell into that trap in the last bar muscle ups, and when Ricky passed Vellner on the last rep, I thought he definitely skipped a lap on the bike to work event.
So Ricky did incredibly well on the muscle up.
I think he paced the workout really well. I think that for him, this was like an evolution of him maturity wise in terms of execution on this workout.
Going to the comments, the comments on the chat are just full. It's basically a Hiller dreamscape. It's just PED talk every comment.
No, that is not a dreamscape.
Oh, okay.
On the road chat.
Yeah. Is that
It's
because we're
nuts.
mixed
Gross.
with strongman? Is that because we're mixed with strongman?
No,
I mean,
think it's probably because of-
Annie's taking a beating in the chat.
Yeah,
A beating.
It's because of how they look. I don't think it's the association with strongman. It's because of how they look, and people who don't work out can't fathom that a body can look that way based on training. Oh,
Mr. Cotler, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
How are you, dude?
I'm excellent. I'm freezing my ass off, to be honest.
Oh, why? How cold is it there?
It's cold. I don't know. I think Vegas has turned me into a pussy.
It could. No one's ever said that before.
I'm very cold right now. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Justin, when you saw the log and you chatted with your athlete, Ricky Garrard, what are some of the things you guys talked about?
He liked it a lot. And we initially thought that we would do probably like 4 sets on the first round. But when we saw Noah go 15, he was like, you know what, I probably can stretch it to like 8 or 10 to start. And that's what he did. He was first coming off there. And if we had maybe like 3 more bar muscle ups at the end, he would have caught up. He was catching them. Nobody knew it. They were calling everybody else, but Ricky was catching everybody and finished, a few seconds behind. But it was a good one for him. You know what, man? There's something about him. He just has a knack of figuring shit out. You know what I mean? Like, it's a hard thing to teach when you just are good at shit. Like, he just has a knack at being good at stuff. So I was not surprised that he did well on that. I'm not surprised where he is right now. I think the next workout will be the toughest workout of the weekend for him. He's not a great back squatter. He doesn't have a big back squat. And I think that's just basically like how fucking heavy can you back squat, essentially. And unfortunately, his max back squat is 435, 440. So that's going to be a damage control workout for sure. But I've said that before, and then he went and lifted 330 on a sandbag. So he finds a way to do, inhuman things sometimes.
Cotler, will you do the Heisman to that kid who's trying to get in your shot right there? Just put your hand on his face and shove him down, please. What about Ricky's grit? We were talking about this before. I believe this is one of those grit workouts because it has a new implement and getting up there. Is Ricky's grit second to none?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody grittier. I mean, there's no question that there are guys that are gritty as fuck. I mean, Justin, what can you say about Justin? And Justin's the champ. He seems to be good at everything. He doesn't really have any chinks in his armor, or if he does, we haven't seen it yet. And then obviously, guys like Vellner, those guys are super gritty. But I just think you think about what Ricky's been through and the fact that we've never seen it before. We've never seen a guy be able to come back and do the things he's doing. You have to have a ton of grit to be able to do that.
Do you have any other athletes there?
Just Ricky, and then obviously in the legends, cheering on Tommy and Carrie. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right. And Tommy's working with Underdogs Athletics, right?
Yes. Tommy's one of our coaches and just a good friend of mine now. And Carrie, obviously, his family. And you never know what you're going to see with Carrie. Possible that there might be some news coming out sometime in the next few months. So
Is she chomping at the bit?
She will not go individual again. Let's just put it that way, and we'll find out if some other things might be occurring. I can neither confirm nor deny that news.
Justin, thank you for coming on, and we will get a bail bondsman to you right away.
Sounds good. Thanks,
brother.
Good to see you guys, man. Of course.
How important is it that you go in the second heat?
That was very. That was fun.
Right? I mean that was the takeaway there, right?
Oh, it's huge. Going in the second heat. I mean, that's what every athlete thinks about going into competition, is being in the final heat. You watch and learn so much.
He adjusted his whole game plan.
It's like you watching somebody do an open workout, and then 30 minutes later you going after them and learning from them. Or if an athlete tells you their score in a workout and it just gives you something to beat. Without it, it's a huge advantage.
Susan, can we take a look at the leaderboard? After two events, Justin Medeiros has 180 points, tied with Ricky Garrard, 180 points, and Chandler Smith, 170 points, and Roman Krennikov, 155 points. Bjorkman, Carl Goodmanson, 145 points. Jeffrey Adler, 140 points, with Patrick Vellner and Noah Olson in 8th place with 125. Can we check out the women?
I should have the bet on the Chandler Smith production.
Emma Lawson, sitting alone in first place with 180 points. Danielle Brandon in second place, 160 points. Bailey Rogers, third place, 150 points. Jacqueline Dahlstrom, 150 points. Ariel Lone, 145 in fifth. Emma McQuaid tied for fifth with 145 points. Also, Gabriella Magawa, 140 points. Matilda Garns, 135. And in ninth place with 135 points, Annie Thorsdottir with a 7th and 8th place finish.
Where's Laura?
Perfect. Great question. Carr Saunders with a 16th place finish. Amanda Barnhart with a 14th place finish. Laura Horvat also has a 14th place finish, which was in this most recent workout. Can we see event number 3?
I'll just say about Laura, I was pretty surprised how poorly she did on those muscle ups. I mean, she was back there with Gabby McGowan, and we know that Gabby generally struggles on that stuff. So for Laura to not be very much better than her at that was not what I was expecting.
Event number 3, back attack, starts in 53 minutes on the Rogue Invitational YouTube channel. It is back squats 5, then 25 box jumps, back squats 4, then 20 box jumps, back squats 3, 15 box jumps, back squats 2, then 10 box jumps, back squat 1, and then 5 box jumps, 405 for the men, 275 for the women, 24-inch box and 20-inch box. Who on the women's side is going to make a name for themselves on this one?
I think this could be the workout that we see Olivia kind of show why everyone's kind of talking about her as someone up and coming. Obviously, you have Spiegel. I think Cara Saunders is probably the winner, if not second or third place. I would say it's between one of those 3.
What about Manon Anganese? She's strong as shit. Ellie Turner.
Yeah.
Barnhart.
And, another question, too, that if someone has the answer to, they can tell us here in the chat. Are the box jump overs? Do we know the style? We've seen the game's boxes being brought out, but are they clears, or are they bounding, or are they step down requirement? That's an important part of the workout. And if they're anything but get over the box however you want, it's going to change the workout, and it's going to make the box jumps matter a lot more.
I would imagine they're get over the box however you want with the inclement weather, but I could be wrong. Could you imagine jumping across wet turf or doing a box clear in wet turf? The potential there for something sketchy just strikes me as high.
The names that were thrown out: Olivia Kerstetter, Cara Saunders, Danny Spiegel, Manon Anganese, Amanda Bernhardt, Ellie Turner. I think that those are all. I think we're going to see a war. But I would like to throw out there that Annie Thorsdottir will also do well because she will not make a mistake. Her execution will be perfect on it, and if someone makes a mistake, she's going to capitalize on it. Thoughts, Hiller, on who's going to do well at this in the women's side?
What are the mistakes that you see being made? Like they drop a barbell, at which rate I'm curious. Like what happens
Right.
if you fail a back squat?
Right.
Right. Yeah,
That's
that's what
another thing.
No
Yeah,
rep,
that's what we
no rep
talked
on the
about on
box
Wednesday.
jump, not going deep enough on a squat. Go ahead, JR. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Wednesday, one of the things we were talking about was if they fail a rep and they bail, what happens? Do they have to strip the weight and get it back in the rack themselves? Do they have someone to help them? And then also too, we were talking about people that are going to be racing and going really fast on the back squats. People were asking about depth, and I think, and I would like to hear what you think about this. I think what you could see are people trying to flash the hips too early at the top and go back down too fast versus not getting low enough.
Hiller.
I don't see that being an issue. I couldn't imagine someone like really trying to scoot through a set of 5. I see a pause at the top of everyone, so I'm not sure. I want to see how Ariel Lowen does. That's
Her
just
PR
my
is
personal
225,
opinion.
right?
You expecting her to do well or not well?
I expect her to not do as well as the people we've mentioned, but if she can sneak into the group of people we mentioned, that'd be awesome.
I don't think that's in the cards of her. Apparently, her most.
I don't think it's the cards, but
Her recent back squat PR is 275, which is the weight.
But her nickname could be Ariel Show Up Lowen. I mean, she shows up.
she was surprised me on the last one. Didn't she surprise you guys on the barbell slope one just now?
No doubt.
No, I played her on it. So I was hoping she
All
would
right,
do
you
well.
did.
Brian, thoughts on the women? What we're gonna see here?
I think it's gonna be a battle. I don't really have as good of a grasp on how heavy or light 275 is for women relative to 405 for men, but I do know that
It's
Cara
heavy.
Saunders has done. I do know that Cara Saunders has done an unbroken set at 20 at that weight before, which obviously bodes well for her.
So wow. So execution's good. I think Hiller doesn't think that execution's going to be as important as JR, I think. And I think that it is. I think that they are going to race. I think that the nerves are going to get to them. And I think we are going to see some errors either at the bottom or the top or drop bars or something with the box that is going to be significant.
My prediction for this
I-
workout. My
To
prediction. Go ahead,
JR's question from earlier, I believe, or at least I've been informed, that the athletes are responsible for their own barbell. So if it falls to the ground, they got to get it back on the rack.
So you might as well just take a 30-second penalty if you fail a back squat.
Well, that's where I think that the execution might matter. I'm envisioning rep 3 of the round of 3 where athletes have to make a decision like, that was a tough second rep. Can I get one more? And I think that we'll see someone go for it and miss one.
The irony is that if there's any women, the women there that could possibly clean 275 instead of taking all the weights off are not the ones who are in danger of failing the back squat. Right?
Right.
What women there can clean 275?
That's what I was just about to ask you. I don't know. I don't think any of them can. Maybe one.
Who, Amanda?
One. The only ones with a chance would be those two, or maybe Laura. I don't think any of them can clean 275.
Okay.
Also, now warming up and a lead up to it. They're not just going to do a cold lift or a back squat.
We saw you do cold 295 or 275 on the Sevan podcast.
Yeah, man, but I'm not a female.
All right, if you say so.
Not yet.
If you say so.
That's next year.
Let's take a
Next
look. Let's take a look at the men. Who are the guys to watch? Where's this race going to be with the boys?
I think you got to look at someone like a Jorge Fernandez, someone that front squatted 400 at Rogue. Jack
440. Didn't he? I thought he front squatted 440 at the games this year.
Oh, was it? What was it? 440 at the games?
He did 405 and then he jumped to 440.
That's
Jesus.
crazy. I would say, him,
Fernandez?
Jack Farlow, Nick Matthew apparently called a shot on this workout though.
What about
Dude,
Jason?
No, the favorite for this workout is definitely Jeffrey Adler. I think all
Adler
these other
versus
guys are
Matthew
battling.
for the podium for number 1.
I think Adler's going to have a similar performance on this to what he had at back 9 at the games, where it's going to be everyone battling for second.
Do you think we're going to see a colossal collapse from any of these men? Do you think that there could be like time cap?
At what spot? Like any of them?
Well, we don't
Yeah,
know the
and-
time cap. We don't know the time cap yet, do we?
Lazar, right? I don't think Lazar's got a crazy heavy back squat. Does Yona?
If the rest of the time caps are
He does
anything
not.
like the last time cap, you're going to see a lot of people getting capped because the last cap was very aggressive.
Right.
Sager.
What about Jason Hopper?
I think he'll rebound on this one after the last workout. I mean, I expect him to finish in the top 6 or 7.
How did he do on the last one?
What about Samuel Quant?
He'll do well. Probably 8th.
But you don't and Chandler Smith?
I think he'll do very well on this workout.
I think
The
you're
names
gonna
that you
see.
guys
I
are
think you're gonna see a big spread here. You'll see like maybe 3 guys that basically crush everyone, and you'll see about 10 guys that it's a pretty good race, and then you're gonna see 5 to 7 guys that are gonna struggle here.
Oh, and what about the nerves that might be going through someone like Jorge Fernandez, Jack Farlow, or Nick Matthew, new guys to the game? Obviously, Nick has games experience, but no one's going to be as cool as a cucumber as Jeffrey Adler. Do you think that we're going to see a mistake from Farlow or Jorge Fernandez?
No,
Jorge Fernandez really that strong?
He's extremely strong.
I think those
I
guys are
saw
probably
him do
just itching
the
to get their
devil's
hands on.
press at 100.
I saw him in person. He's a brick shithouse. He is huge. He is thick.
The crazy thing about him doing the 100-pound devil's presses is he didn't jerk them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
JR, can you pick a winner for me for this event?
Yeah, I mean, I like Adler, and then I'm going to go ahead and go with Cara Saunders on this. I will say, though, that my prediction on this workout is that no matter what the winning times are, the females are going to go at least 20 seconds faster.
Generally,
Agreed.
yeah, on average.
Taylor, who's your pick for this workout?
I like Nick Matthew and Ellie Turner.
Ooh, Ellie Turner.
Wow. Good picks. Mr. Friend.
JR's point about the times is interesting. Back in 2013 at the games, they had a deadlift 405 pounds and 265 for 15 reps, Cinco 1. Now they have increased the women's weight by 10 pounds, and he still thinks it's an advantage for the women. So we'll be definitely curious to see if that comes true or not. But for winners, even though it's already unpicked, yeah, I'm definitely taking Jeff Adler. And for the women, I think Cara has a good chance as well. But I think that you guys are sleeping on Laura Horvath. I think she's going to do well on this.
Yes, the show does start in 43 minutes at the Rogue Invitational YouTube channel. Andrew Hiller, the Batman.
Noah Olson and Danielle Brandon.
My goodness.
I'm kidding.
My goodness. My goodness.
No. It's going to be Adler and it's going to be Spiegel. No one said Spiegel yet.
If we were really good as a show, we would have pulled up a clip of Danielle Brandon doing the yoke carry right when you said that.
We'd have just pulled up we would have just put up any picture of Danielle Brandon when her name's mentioned.
The real question is who's going to win, Danielle Brandon or Emma Lawson?
Now I got a good one for you, Andrew. Over under placement of 9.5 for Justin Medeiros on this workout.
I don't even know what that means.
No.
Under.
Do you think he's going to finish
Better.
9th and better or 10th and worse?
Better.
Because you already listed 8 guys that you thought would beat him.
Yeah, but Noah Olson didn't count. Because I don't think he'll beat him. That was a joke.
Oh, this is a great observation right here.
What?
Sorry, go ahead and answer Brian's question.
Hold on. Didn't Justin front squat 400 pounds at the 2020 online games?
The only people beating Justin are going to be Adler, Quant, Hernandez, and Farlow. Possibly Farlow. So he'll probably finish 5th or 6th or better.
I don't think Farlow's got enough of a motor to beat him in this workout, but I agree. I think he's definitely 9th or better.
Oh.
He can squat.
What do you mean motor? Where do you need a motor in this?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Go ahead.
It's CrossFit. I mean, to me, it's CrossFit still. I know there's 15 back squats at 405, but I don't think Jack Farlow is strong enough to outpace Justin on the 75 box jump overs. Is it 75?
Yes.
So the point of that question is that right off the bat, when we talked about the men, you guys listed 8 guys and we didn't list Medeiros. But now as soon as we bring him up, we're putting him in the top 5. And that's how good he's gotten. Yeah, we don't even have to mention him. We're just assuming he's in the top
Well
5.
played. Well played, Brian.
Very well played.
Jeff's
Go ahead.
right. You
Go-
did bitch
go ahead,
slap
Taylor.
us.
I was gonna say I didn't mention 8 guys, but
JR, were you going to say something about a good point someone brought up?
Yeah, well, I was just going to push back on Brian a little bit and say that we can't. First of all, I don't think we can compare a workout that was done that long ago to now. I also think that workout was deadlift and weighted pistols, completely different than box jump over back squat. So I do think that over the years, the females have shown that usually when there's any barbell involved, they are comparatively much faster, not to mention that a 20-inch box is a lot easier for them than a 24. I will still contest.
And lastly, 275 is still less than 70% of 405, which is kind of the general discrepancy between men and women's weights.
And to answer my question about needing an engine, basically, we are going to see 2 people, a man and a woman, go way faster than we expected on this workout. There are going to be some athletes who are going to race, and it's going to blow our fucking mind when we see them race through these back squats. Go ahead, Hiller.
We're sleeping on somebody.
Okay.
In the male side. His name is Scott Tetlow.
I don't think he's top 5.
Yeah, Scott's a good squatter.
The dude's got a monster squat.
What's his back squat?
It's over 500.
That's heavy. And he's actually good at boxing colors. I may be wrong.
All right.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
This will be cool.
Gotta
It'll be
go.
cool.
Where are you going?
We got to
pick up my daughters and my wife, and we'll be
All
back.
right. Tell me, said hi. Thanks for good having you on, JR. Okay. This is a fucking great comment right here. Where did Taylor go?
I think
Top
you had to go
10
with JR.
Top 10 will be female, but bottom 10 will also be female. Brian.
Oh, so she thinks there's a massive disparity from the top women's capacity to the lower half of the field. I think bottom 10 is a stretch, but no, I think there will be a handful of athletes in both divisions that struggle with this workout.
Andrew Hiller, what do you think about that comment from Vladimir Putin?
Vladimir? Wait, you're talking about the one that just brought up about the top 10, bottom 10, right?
Yeah, I am. It was Jamie Latmer.
Okay.
I just said Vladimir.
Okay. I was confused with that. I agree with the top time. I don't know if I agree with the bottom time.
Okay.
I don't know a female who's going to get pinned by 275 the way that I think the guy might be pinned by 405.
I think there are going to be some. I don't know much about Bailey Rogers, but I think Carolyn Prevost is going to get pinned.
That's fair. Okay, then it's incredibly fair.
Ryan Johnson, $10. Thank you. This is kind of a favorite, I think, of both Hiller and Brian. They like this kind of stuff. 70% of 405 is 281. Do you guys like the female weight relative to the men's weight?
What do you do from there? Where do you typically go from there, Brian?
What do you mean?
So, like, when you see 281 as 70%, do you go up or do you go down? 275 or 285?
I test it. I mean, we had a
Good answer.
We had a controversial opinion about the selection of weight for the first event at the 2020 Stage 2 CrossFit Games when they had the women go 145, I think, on the shoulder overhead, and the men was like 235. But then at the end of the day, it played out perfectly, and so I had a good feeling about Dave's testing process for that workout. In this first workout that we had, I don't know what the testing process was like, but we already talked about the fact that it looks like there could have been some minor adjustments made to have the workout play out more evenly across the men's and women's division. So I'm hopeful that in this case, the reason that they selected 275 is based on testing that they did, and that we can have a similar expression across those two divisions.
Is this true what Bailey Walker's saying, that usually it's 80%? The women's weight is usually 80% of the men's weight?
No.
You tell me. Put 35. Oh, you don't have to do math. What's 35 divided by 50? What's 65 divided by 95? What's 95 divided by 135?
This is 95 out of 135, 73, 73.
And
Sounds
the reason
like math to me.
and the reason that the
405
sandbag
equals 285. That number's 285.
the reason that the sandbag workouts are always crazily favored the women is because 100 is only 66% of 150. I think that weight always should have been 110 or 115. if you want a similar expression of fitness.
Justin's front squat in 2020 was 430.
Yeah, 4 reps though, right?
At 437 pounds.
Is that the
Spiegel
one right
says,
next to the games?
go ahead, Hiller.
I was just talking to Brian because he said it was for 4, but I think that was quarterfinals the following year after the online games. The online games was a 1 rep front squat, wasn't it? Where Raleigh hit a 500-pound front squat.
Oh, yeah, you might be right. If so, my fault.
Spiegel says, Brian Friend, podcast from his grandma's house, and now he's got the full-on Unabomber look. I am concerned.
Sounds like he wants one of these hoodies.
He does.
Nice.
You go to Sherpa Works to get your Be Friendly sweatshirt, or go to Vindicate, VNDK8.com.
Or if you're on site at the Rogue Invitational, I have 1 medium and 1 double XL to give away, so you can just find me.
Double XL. Go to Vindicate.com to get all your Hiller Fit and Sevi podcast gear. Also, if you want to get a sweatshirt like this, go to lifeisrx.com. When is Brian's mixtape
I just saw
coming
funny.
out? Brian's beard is growing before our eyes. Any final words you guys want to throw in there?
I think we beat this one up pretty good.
Good.
I'm just excited to watch it. I think maybe I was talking to JR about this, but I don't remember the last time we saw a heavy back squat from the rack in a competition. And I remember
Outside
that
of the
one in
CrossFit
Dubai.
Total, yeah, outside of the CrossFit
In a
Total, it
Metcon
doesn't
like
really
this,
happen.
right?
No, yeah, it rarely ever happens.
Do you remember that event in Dubai in 2015 where they had to do a volume accumulation of snatches and back squats?
No.
I think Fraser won that year, but they had to do some sort of back squat from the rack. And everyone chose 165. They could choose their weight. It was an interesting workout.
If Fraser won, I think it was 2016.
Okay. It was a while ago.
Tomorrow morning, we will be doing a live giveaway announcement for the L1, the free level 1 seminar, CrossFit level 1 seminar, brought to you by Vindicate.
Fucking awesome that he's doing that.
Jeff Bako, you're doing the Lord's work. Who's going to call out Taylor Self when Nick Matthew doesn't win? Yeah, you can, Mark, Mr. Mark. The show will start in 33 minutes. When the show is over, we will be live very, very quickly. Come back and join us. Mr. Souza, action.
You don't even have to want to do CrossFit. You don't have to want to be a coach. You don't have to want to be a trainer. If you just want the operating manual to your body, it's not just Forge and Elite Fitness. It's the operating manual to the human genome. You'll take this CrossFit Level 1 seminar and you will walk away inspired. From the second you leave, your entire life will change. You will make significant changes to your life because you are excited. You will start tweaking with your diet. You'll start tweaking with your movement. You'll start tweaking with who you hang out with. Everything will take a shift. For some people, it'll be massive. For some people, it'll be a little bit. No matter what, you'll move towards a better life. Everyone is going to sense it in you that you are more accountable, more personally responsible, happier, more helpful, more thoughtful human being. And you'll be nicer to look at.